I had to unmute this thing. We was having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we working through that. Welcome to Thursday Night with Pineapple. I'm your host, Terrence Ramses, aka Mr. Pineapple. We got Uncle Donald right over here next to us. We're gonna talk some good business tonight. We're gonna go over some history, some black history, he looks just like Fredrick Douglass, and Fredrick Douglass is gonna give us some ones and twos on some of our history and his history, and we're gonna have a good time on this fellowship live. So for those of you who do not know who I am Terrence Ramsey. I'm originally from New Jersey with a West Indian background of the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And I came down here in 2007. I went to Bethune-Cookman University from 2007 to 2012. I graduated with a business administration degree, concentration marketing. I stayed in Daytona for a couple of years. After that, I was a bellman at the Hilton Oceanfront Resort over there, the big Hilton that you see on the beach side out there, until 2017. And then 2017, I moved to Tampa, Florida, started my business named Ripe Brand Clothing, now known as Royal Blossom Company. And I'm going to give you a brief background about the Royal Blossom Company. I'm going to give you the mission statement. The mission is to restore, build, create, to restore all the wealth and resources that have been lost in our communities, to build up the youth and children that are coming behind us, to create a unique commonwealth of like-minded entrepreneurs, to put them back in their God-given purpose and talents. And our brand values is to be fun, spirited, and passionate about everything you do through God. So I'm going to tell you, we got some amazing things coming up with the Royal Blossom Company. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a few updates. Without further ado, first off, the first annual Oxtail Festival next Saturday in Orlando. If you haven't gotten your tickets to this, listen, we're gonna be down there. We're gonna have the merchandise. We're gonna have vibes. We're gonna have our brand ambassadors. There's going to be a lot of different vendors that are selling oxtails. They're going to have an oxtail cook-off and see who has the best oxtails. When I tell you, you need to be there, you need to be there. It's expected to be 3,000 to 4,000 people there, so you might want to make sure you get your tickets to go. We're an official vendor that's going to be out there. Me and my brand ambassadors are going to be up there as well. Coming out and next week, we got the Caribbean-based Rhythm tank top right here. So this is the prototype of the tank top. Obviously, the logo is a little bit different in this picture, but the final logo is the regular Caribbean-based colors that you see, or the roster colors that you see in the other garments that Royal Blossom has had. So this is now going for $24.99 pre-order. This will be here in the next 7 days. It's already finished at the factory. I'm excited for what's happening with the clothing brand as well. Also, we have the pink lemonade as well. So we have that one, pink lemonade, or the electric lemonade. That's also $24.99. And let me tell you about these tank tops. So these tank tops are on special. So it's one for $24.99 and two for $29.99. So it only makes sense to get two because it's gonna be hot outside. You're gonna be sweating. You want to mix and match. There's one day that you might want to do something different. I'm telling you, you might want to jump on top of this because the quantity amount of it is going to be small. It's going to be medium to 3XL for the men, and it's going to be small to extra large, maybe 2X to the women. So you want to get your orders in. There's going to be 4 other variants on there. If you want to see the other variants, you want to go to the website. I'm going to put the QR code up here, and you go ahead and scan this QR code right here, www.royalblossompodcast.co, or you can scan this code. It'll take you right over here to the website as well. I'm excited about that. So I'm going to tell you a few more things, and then we're going to get right into the nuts and bolts. So we also have the private label consulting firm called Fashion Silk Payoff, or Fashion silk pay or fashion loft silk pay. So what happens is you have different things that we do with this. So if you want to start your own clothing brand, start your own private label farm, I can pretty much mass produce everything that you need to do, whether it's a family reunion shirt, shirts, hats. I could do different shoes, anything that you need. I can do custom logos if you need classes on how to just start your own business. I definitely can start that for you. We also have things that you can start for students as well. So that's going to be that. And here's one of our other dad hats I meant to tell you, just Deep Soul Sister as well. That's also on sale for $29.99. So without further ado, I'm gonna show you a couple of pictures of Fredrick Douglass himself with himself. I appreciate you. And this is a picture he out here in the community taking pictures with himself. I've never seen a statue of somebody and then they take a picture of themselves. That's kind of actually ironic and funny. And this is Donald on the news, but I'm gonna play a quick video and then I am going to get into the nuts and bolts of this interview. 1 second. Let me see if I got it on here. Let me see. Let's see. Thought I put it on here. Maybe it didn't come on here when I was loading it. Hold on, family. I got it. Here we go. About to play it right now. Can't play the video from storage. Okay. Let's go ahead. Video. It said it won't let me play. It said I can't play it from the storage. But without further ado, so what we gonna do? We're gonna go and let him talk about his news segment because he's been making moves. He keeps saying that he wanna be like me when he grows up, but he's the one on the news stations taking care of the community and doing things like that. And he's the one that's inspiring many people like myself and others, to go after their goals and visions and dreams. So without further ado, we're gonna bring on Mr. Donald D on the line, Miss AKA Fredrick Douglass.
How you be, bro?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Man, look at him, man. I'm good, man. I can't complain, bro. First of all, thank you very much for the interview, man. I'm excited, bro.
I'm excited too.
Well, I went.
Yes, sir. That's for you.
All right.
Yes,
Bet.
sir.
So, most definitely, it's a pleasure to be here tonight, today, tomorrow, yesterday, however it be. And just thank you, man, for taking the time out to give me this opportunity. I appreciate it.
No problem. So yeah, like I just wanted to, bring you on, for you to talk to the people. I know you've been busy. I've been busy. I got a long list of people that I'm just, trying to get to and interview, and definitely want to interview the people that I've known for different lengths of time. People that I've known since I've been out here. You one of the first people that I've met, like within the first year and a half that I've been out here. So you figure, you've been on the news with Candy Low and everything. So I wanted to definitely shed some light on what you do. This is a part of the podcast or whatever.
Well, I tell you what, brother. First of all, um, I got to give recognition to the real God. Everybody throws the the accolades to me, DLD, but there would be no DLD without the God.
Yep.
So always gotta pause and give him his recognition. Um, it's been a road. I will be honest with you. It's been a road. I've been in this for 35 years. Um, Coming from where I come from, and just to add, I was born in Baltimore. Go Baltimore Ravens. I know some Buccaneers in the house. They may not like that, but hey, it is what it is. However, as I was saying, I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I went through before the age of 12. I wound up going through 5 treacherous foster homes
Oh,
where
wow.
life was, unbearable. as a child, and when I talk about it to kids, they're like, man, look here, bro, I'll do this, I'll do that, man, I'll do this to them. And I let them know that they must understand it was a different era and a different time. You see what I'm saying? I came through as a child in the 60s, and during the 60s, man, it was a whole different era back then. But all in all, thank God I survived those 5 foster homes. My dad retrieved me when I was 12, took me to New York, and you would think that once my dad came and retrieved me from that foster care, that things would be easier, love would be there, and all that good stuff. But unfortunately, it was just more terror that I went through at his hands. Um, Matter of fact, I mean, he stabbed me like 8 times, and I still go to the doctor for that. And there were other things that occurred, when you talk about the N word, that was my name. My name wasn't Junior, it wasn't Donald. I love you, son. No, it was the N word. That was my name. I wore that name for the time that I was living with him from 68 to 74. But still, even though my spirits were dampened, there were times that, suicide, I've sat on that couch. When I say couch, that's a psychiatry couch. But all in all, thank God that, I came through, and at the mere age of 33, matter of fact, after I took some kids to see Malcolm X, there was a scene where Denzel Washington, who plays the character of Malcolm, he comes out the shower, and the Muslim brother is like standing there, and
I know that.
yeah, and Malcolm's standing there putting
The perm.
the
Perm.
perm,
Yep.
right? So my brother, he says, look at you, just want to be like them white men, whatever. So he said, you need to talk to Allah. He'll help you. So Denzel, he turns around and says, okay, well, how do I talk to this Allah? He said, look, just talk to him like you're talking to me. Or, you know what I mean? Just be real with it. So I took these kids home, man, and I went to the store. I ain't gonna lie, I went to the 7-Eleven, got me a 40 of Old English 800. And I got to the crib, man, and I bust that thing, and homie from the block, man, hey, this for my homies that's no longer here, you know what I mean? So I took a couple of sips, and I just started going off, man, like, yeah, if you're a guard, I need to talk to you. Yo, homie, look at here, I'm tired of this life, If I got to die, I want to die on positive, you know what I mean? I don't want to be negative. I want to live positive. And man, let me tell you something, bro. That was what, 1991, 92.
Yeah, it is.
So here we are, 2026, and it's like I'm riding on the red carpet ride. You know what I mean? Just how life has transpired from that point to where I am now. I went to the military, as you see over there on the wall there, 5.5 years in the military. Got out as a sergeant because I was hurt. I wanted to do 20, but I got hurt. That's another story. Joined the post office, Tampa post office here, main post office, and before it was all said and done, I became the first black manager of the department at the main post office here in Tampa. So my son invites me out to his school to speak. Me wanting to be that dad, so I go out to the school and I'm saying, okay, I'll go do this, go back to work because I'm working. I'm trying to, I want to be post. I want to be the first black postmaster of Hillsborough County. That's what I was working for. But man, look at here, God threw a monkey wrench in it. You know what I mean? So next thing you know, November the 22nd, my son's 18th birthday, 1996, I'm retiring from the post office. And here comes DLD. And I've been on the street ever since. Oh, I'm sorry, not the street, but this boulevard ever since.
Okay. So let's rewind back because you had a lot to say just now. So let me ask you this: how did you end up in foster care?
Well, let's just say my dad, unfortunately, he was very physical with my mom, and he was incarcerated.
Okay.
And so my 2 sisters and I, we were with my mom and this other brother who she met, wound up coercing her to give us away.
Mm.
So at 2 years old, I went to my first foster home. And by the time I started remember, I think 5 or 6 years old, I was already in my second foster home. You
Oh,
know, so um, and then my two sisters, they went to different foster homes as well. So we didn't get to know each other. We didn't know each other. We didn't meet each other until we were like 28, 29, 30 when we met each other. You know, um, but yeah, those foster homes, those foster years were very trying. They were treacherous. They were harsh. Dude, I wouldn't put my worst enemy through. I mean, you're talking 9 months of forbidden to eat human food, where they made me eat dog food, um, almost being hung out a third floor window as a child, 7 years old, kicked down the stairwell, right here in my chest. Uh, I mean, it just went on and on. So when you talk about school, I was a low performer in school. Uh, got knocked back in the first grade, expelled in the third grade, expelled in the sixth grade, expelled in the seventh grade. The 12th grade, I just gave up. You know, um, but I will say, in the first grade, we went on a field trip, all black school. We went to the White House, and I had the opportunity to meet President John Kennedy. I didn't know who he was; it didn't mean anything to me until that day, November the 22nd, 1963, upon his assassination. Then it hit me who this man was. You know, um, but yeah, it was 12 years. Well, let's say 17 years of, I call it OJT, on the job training, if that makes sense,
yep.
because it made me who I am. And just to add, when I got to New York at 12 years old, I was a very timid, scared kid. I was. I was withdrawn. As a matter of fact, in my second foster home, it was said that for like 6, 7 months, or maybe a year, I didn't speak. That's how bad the trauma was. I didn't speak at all. So I remember my foster father saying when he had me in his arms, he was telling his guests, he said, "See this boy here? He don't talk, but watch out, world. When he get to talking, it's gonna be hard to shut him up." So I'm just saying, my nephew, here I am. I'm still talking.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. So DLD, what does that stand for? I know that's a part of your brand, and we all got different identities and brands. And you said you're not in the street, but you're in the boulevard. So tell us a little bit about the boulevard from, you said, 1996, correct?
From 1996, but it really started earlier than that.
Okay.
Um, while I was still at the post office, I started, like I said, I took these kids to the movies, and these kids that I took, they were part of my group. And I must say, when I say my group, because I'm a starch fan of the Temptations, right?
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I auditioned for them in 1996. Um, so these young boys, I gathered them up, and the way I did it, I went to each one of them, each one of their homes, to meet their mother. Now these there's no fathers in the home, but I went to meet their mothers, and I told their mothers, I said, I want to introduce myself because I don't want it to be said that some stranger. So I want you to know who your son is with. That's important. So I came up with this name, Kids Doing It Without Drugs. The initials, KDIWD. That's the initials.
Okay.
Okay? So I pattern these kids after. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Not only the Temptations, New Edition, and Another Bad Creation. I don't know if you ever heard of Another Aisha.
Okay.
Yeah. So I patterned this group after that. And matter of fact, I pointed out the book over there, which contains.
Yeah, go ahead and bring out the archives. He has a library or family. He has a library of archives of all his histories been recorded.
Now this book here, all right, is Donald D. Production. All right. It's called The Project One. All right. Now you can see how flaky it is. So that's time. That's time because of how flaky it is. All right. So just going through, these are songs. These are songs that I put together. You see,
1990.
1990. All right. So as I flip, these are gospel songs. These are R&B songs. I even wrote songs for ladies to sing. Okay. This is what, April 18, 1992. Okay. This is Mini Boys. This is the group. So what I did from Katie, I was 5 boys. I took the 3 boys, the 3 youngest. I took them out and made them the Mini Boys. So I wrote this. This is a rap, and I had them to sing this, to do this. So they were on TV, local TV here in Tampa. They were on Channel 13 here in Tampa. I used to take them out to Lowry Park, do videos with them. I take them to Lowry Park, Riverside Park. Every day I come by. Now see this car right here?
Yep.
The car right there? That's my 280Z. Now just imagine, I will open up the flap and I will stash all 5 of those boys in that car.
Man, I remember that car.
Huh?
I remember that car too. Everybody used to, and their mama used to stack in that car.
Yeah. So I would stack them boys in that car. All right. And when I would take them around town, and I would have them working on these songs.
Yes.
I would have them working on this.
These are invites. These look like these are like recent, not too long ago.
Yeah. I might have just stuck them in there. So yeah, these are songs that I wrote, that we worked on, let me hold on. Yep. That are all copywritten through the Office of Copyrights in Tampa Bay. I mean, in Washington, D.C. I even wrote this for Tampa Bay. This consists of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Lightning, and the Rays. Okay, but it never got publicized. But this is September 11th, 1991. All right.
Why that didn't get publicized?
That's a good question. These are songs that I wrote for, like, love songs. These are love songs. Step My Way. Everybody should have love. I Want to Be Your Man. Not that song, but this is my song. All right. Matter of fact, let me see here. Oh, this one here, I've done the video for this. She's Mine. I've had major record companies want this song. I've had Def Jam wanted this song. Atlanta Records had this song. And not only that, I should take this book. Trust me, I should take this book. Sometimes I would drive. Sometimes I would fly. Sometimes I would take a Greyhound bus. Go to New York, Capitol Records, Atlanta Records. Mm-hmm. I would go out to California, to Motown Records, all right, to get this stuff, to see if I can get it published. Also, you remember Uncle Luke?
Yeah.
Live Crew? Mm-hmm. All right, I should go to Miami, take music to there. BET, when they first started out in Washington, D.C., 1899 Washington Avenue. That was the address. I used to travel up to Washington to get my stuff published. And this is before DLD. All right, so you look at the dates, 1989. All right, so this is all the stuff that started happening, 1988.
Yeah, I wasn't even born. I was not in July. I was born in November.
November. Okay, the world is changing. This is another song that we put on wax. The world is changing. I had a band that would back me up and everything. So these are songs. Yeah, I mean, I was into it. And some of these love songs, I even tried them out live. I'll leave it at that. Live. Hey, you see that 280Z right there?
Yep.
When it was clean? Live.
Is it 280Z still around?
Oh, no. As a matter of fact, when I was working at the post office, I had written this book here, The Power of Being a Winner. I had the manuscript. and I went to have it edited. And as I got off the interstate, Bush Boulevard, going east on Bush, I got to 15th Street, and a drunk driver just came straight out from 15th Street and hit me on the tail end. I spun, and as I spun, I started going towards the telephone pole. And as I was going, I said, "Well, Lord, I guess I'm coming home to see you." But fortunately, uh, but at that time, that's when I lost the car. That's when it was totaled out. So that's the story of the 280. But I keep it up there because.
Okay.
Should I say anything else?
Say whatever you gotta say.
No, we on camera. All I'm gonna say is the 280s.
Okay, so tell us about your book writing journey. I see this book, The Power of Being a Winner, and then I have the other book on the live. I'm gonna show everybody. He has a I think so.
Okay.
Yep. You got motivational moments, and then yeah, you got something on Spotify too.
Yeah. So this is a workshop that I've developed,
Okay. Workshop.
and this is gonna lead to the books. But this is a workshop that I developed. It's called Code to Diamonds. All right. So basically, this is working with staff members who more or less work with kids. All right, and teaching them how to work, how to build the momentum in children. All right, so here you got youth in four corners. Okay, these are just some of the definition of cold to diamond. So that's one. This one here, this is one of the books. Now look how the book is done though. So quite naturally today it would not sell in that format. Okay, but see that street right? That's Third Avenue in the South Bronx.
Yeah.
My gang and I, we used to run that part of Third Avenue. So basically, this is excellence in my hood. So this is like a workbook. Okay, so if you go through it and open it up, and you go through it,
Oh yeah.
so you'll see the date that I did that. I can't recall the date.
June 1997.
Yeah. So you got the table of contents, you got the workshop, and brother, let me tell you, I mean, it made its impact here in Tampa. It made its impact in Baltimore, and it made its impact in New York. All right. So as you flip through it, for instance, um, these are pictures that I just gathered. That's my son. That's on the end over there, right there. The big picture, right? That's my son. All right. Uh, some of these other brothers I do know, but all in all right, as you go, you see what it says? Young, gifted, and black. All right. So if you keep rolling through the pages, you'll see how it relate to the positive nature of being a young black male. All right, and how to overcome the adversities that will come to us as black males in this America. You see what I'm saying? Like ABCs of encouragement. Basically, again, to build up these our young brothers. All right. Um, am I my brother's keeper? More or less. This right here is like right up there who I am. These are cards that I developed. All right. And these cards, that one and the other one, somebody I am. I developed these cards. And when these young brothers would come to the workshops, they would get cards like this. And the moral of the story is, I would have them take them, put them up on your wall so that you can read this. It's very important that you read who you are and what you, as a black male, can do, despite what people say you can't do. Yeah. So
Yeah, I can see this being something that's very, very
yeah.
stick.
So as a matter of fact, you can have that.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt.
It stick with you in the '90s, especially with that crime bill in '94. This would be real good.
Yeah. And check this out. What's the date on that?
This one says 1997 too.
1990, what?
1997.
1997. Would you believe here we are 30 years later and it's still good? It's still going to be put into play. You know what I mean? So this one here, this is another. Oh, this is fathers reaching the peak. This is a workshop I developed for fathers. I've done many of them for Planned Parenthood. They've had me to come in and perform these workshops. Yeah. Ties that bind. How good of a father are you? Despite what society says, that you as a black man, uh, how good are you to reverse what society says about us as black men, us as black fathers? So, they try to demoralize us as black men and as black fathers, but this workshop here let them know, it shines light on them and let them know what they can do to, how can I say, I don't want to say fight against the tide, but go against the tide of what they're saying and what they're saying they can't be, and what they're not supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I would like to add something to that. So this is the bow to tightness, the rope ties the children to you. Don't loosen it. That's a good quote. And I will say and add this for a guy that does advocate for community issues and community uh stuff like this, and advocate for fatherhood and stuff like that. And I would say just to throw out some new statistics that are proven to be fact that you can check on the Harvard Review, blackdemographics.com, the CDC, the Department of Bureau of Labor Statistics. Black fathers are the most involved fathers. It's 67%. It'd probably be higher if it wasn't for that's like LBGT, mass incarceration, that's gone down the last 30 years as well. And um, what was I gonna say? What was that last one? I just lost my train of thought. And custody battles. So it's actually like 7 out of 10. So like how society make it seem like men that are like deadbeats and stuff like that. That's far few in between. Believe it or not, that's like only like 16% of the men that's in the community that does that. So it's not like a whole bunch of people that do that. It come off like you are that we are, because a lot of the sisters in our community, they get with the same type of guys, and that's one of the conversations that never gets highlighted. It's not that the guys are not taking care of the kids. It's the guys that they chose to have babies with that are not taking care of the kids. So a lot of us, and the funny thing is, there's a whole news, like if you can go like the YouTube or like the news, or go to like Eyewitness 7 News. So they did a whole survey on like every father in each community and see which ones were the most involved. It was surveyed by black women that we were the most involved. That's meaning that we helped them with their homework, sit down with them at least 3 to 4 times to get a meal with them. We at all their extracurricular activities and everything like that, and we pour into them, pray with them, eat with them, make them breakfast, tuck them in the bed. That's the thing they try to keep out of the news, but
They
but
don't want us to know that.
but we are the best fathers
And if
on
I
the
can
planet.
share, I have a habit, and this is probably 10 years, maybe 20 years running. When I see young brothers out with kids, I have a tendency to roll up on them and say, excuse me, brother. Are those your kids? Matter of fact, I did that one time, and the brother, he had his gat on, and he was like, "Yo, what's up, bro? What's up?" And I said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 bro. I ain't about all that. I just come over here. I just want to congratulate you on what you're doing with your kids. That's all, brother. That's all." He said, "Oh, who are you?" Then I went on and told him who I was. I can also remember in Baltimore, down on Howard Street. I walk in McDonald's, and this brother, he got his baggy pants on, he got his Timbs on, he got his hat cocked to the side, got his jean jacket, got the jewelry just swinging. But guess what? He got two little boys there, and I rolled up on him again, and I said, "Buck, I don't want no trouble, man. I just want to come over and congratulate you, man, on your fatherhood. Because they say we ain't doing what we supposed to do." And this brother responded. He said, yo, G, I appreciate that, man, but these are my boys. I take care of mine. You know what I mean? So you saying, what the media is trying to portray us as, and how a lot of us tend to fall into that victim. When I say victim, I'm talking about believing what they are falsifying about us. So you can also say, for instance, like they will try to persuade us to believe that we as black folks, we're the majority that are on food stamps. So when they start talking about SNAP and this current administration and what they're doing, to try to alleviate, SNAP, well, guess what? They need to check who really is getting hurt by this. It's not us by the most part. Nope. It's them. So, when they try to banish, badmouth, criticize black men and say that we are terrible dads, they need to check what you just said. All the ratio, all the records and what have you that is plain and simple of what we as black men are doing and how we're standing up for our children. So these are just 2 workshops that I put together to train dads on how to be that dad that they're supposed to be.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here. Just moving on. This is another book that I put together. You Can Be a Winner. I don't have the book though, but this is Prosperity, Wisdom, and Growth. Now this is, believe it or not, the mayor of Baltimore City at the time was Martin O'Malley. All right. Children and Family of Baltimore, they purchased this program that I wrote.
How long ago was that?
Oh man, that was like 2003. All right.
So that was a little minute ago.
Yeah, that was a minute. So this here, and basically when they hired me to go throughout the city on Saturday mornings at different churches, various churches, and hold court with adults who are wanting to work with kids. So basically what this is to train the adults how to work with kids. So this was like, 2003 to 2006. And it also afforded me the opportunity. I'm sure you heard of Dick Gregory.
Yeah, of course.
It afforded me the opportunity to work with Dick Gregory in reference to traveling in the same circuit, teaching black males the importance of having their prostate checked. So during that time period, that allowed me that opportunity. Okay. All right. So these are just workshops, but I did have, because I've written like 14 books.
14 books.
And my first book was,
That man, he's an author for real. He got 14 books in the game over the years.
I was just looking at it. the other day. Give me a second here. This is my first book. This is my very first book in that format. I have another book in another format, but that's the very first book.
Oh, this looks like this is.
And you see how it looks, right? And believe it or not, are you ready for this?
That boy did this with a typewriter.
With a type, you're right. I had a brother's typewriter.
Well, you've been around a long time. If you write books for typewriters.
So,
Look at that. That's manuscript.
this is one of my early promotions that turned out.
Oh wow.
My very first book, Truth in the Poem. Now, believe it or not, just like that, in that format, I sold these for $12.99 in that format, my brother.
Oh yeah, this is original.
In that format. Now you imagine going to Staples and putting these books together. Staples, all right. You know what they used to do? I had became friendly with some of the workers, and I got friendly with some of the workers. So what they would do, they would allow me to come in after the store closed, 15th and Fowler Avenue when they were there. And what they would do, they would allow me to come in for free to use their printers and everything. And I would get on their printers and I would print out my books. So it didn't cost me anything to print the books out, but I sold them in return for $12.99. Sold 5,000 copies. And this is the original format right there. And this is what, 1992, 93, 94, somewhere around that area. So you imagine when you talk about selling your product out the trunk, don't have me pop my trunk on you, homie, because I was popping trunks. You see what I'm saying? And these books were selling like hotcakes. And I apologize, I don't have the other books. They're probably in the drawer right there. But yeah, just being serious about the craft.
Dead serious about
all right. And this book right here, believe it or not,
he got everything.
This right here, now you might have to hold.
Oh Lord.
You might have to eat your Wheaties to hold this. All right. See what it says on the side.
Poetry, 1989. The Horns of Sound Wave, copyrighted.
1995. Till the horns blow. All right.
He got everything in here.
And in this book here, if I may add, in that book, there's poems for Dr. King, there's poems for Magic Johnson, there's poems for MC Hammer, there's poems in there for Michael Jordan's dad, there's poems in there for Arsenio Hall, there's poems for Barack Obama, Bill Clinton when he ran for president. Some of these poems are tributes to foster children. This is when, what year is that? 1991. That's when we went after Saddam. When we went to war. That's now these here. If you feel them, all right. I had some great volunteers come over and we made 200 of these. We glued the stripes on. We glued the stars on. We laminated them, and then I sent them overseas. 200 of them for the troops. So you imagine, this is here. This is for MC Hammer. There's one in there for Michael Jackson. There's one in there for Ray Lewis when they went to the Super Bowl in 2000 here in Tampa. Michael Jackson, there's poems in there for him. There's love poems in there. There's social poems. You name it, brother. You know what I mean? And all this is copyrighted in the Office of Copyrights in Washington, D.C. Katrina. There's poems in there for Katrina as well. Now you heard about Katrina, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Yes, in New Orleans. All right. So the work is there, bro. The work is there. And see this poem right here? A little girl gave me that. She was 13 years old. What's the date on that? Is there a date on that? It's right there. She was 13 years old. She was at Alpha Teen Pregnancy Program. All right. She wrote that and gave it to me. She said, Mr. D, I know you're not going to keep that. That's what year is that again?
September 22nd, 1993.
Okay, this is what, 2026? If you put your hands in between the papers there, you'll see that it's laminated.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's fresh. All right, and the same thing with this right here. These paper flowers, little girl gave me these as well. And these been with me since probably the same time. Only thing about it, they done faded, but I told her I'm going to keep them. She didn't believe me. And she's a grown woman now, I suspect. There's those flowers. You know what I mean? All this is important that I keep. You know, because of the fact that if these kids, if they take the time to do this, I take the time to recognize them. Because, you know, I know what I went through as a child. So it's very important that I know and I support them as much as possible.
Mm,
Yes.
that's good. Oh man, that's a lot. So, this is just Black history, being taught. Um, got a lot of questions, but I like to in these type of settings. I like to listen a little bit more. Just like to let this flow. Let you tell us. Your timeline and your story, because I see a lot of awards. From just over the years, from mentorship. You got publications. You got everything. So you have a lot of accomplishments, man. You have done a lot of different things, and I believe God is pleased with you for all these different accomplishments and how you impacted so many people from grown-ups to the youth. And I definitely want to give you your flowers, and I appreciate you taking the time to share your story with me and share it with the audience as well. um I want to ask you this before I ask you about Fredrick Douglass. Over the last few months since 2026, how would you describe you just turning 69, right? Turning 69. What was the biggest reflection you would have of being on the planet for 69 years?
The biggest reflection I will say is, wow. Um, Talking personal, professional.
But either or.
Well, turning 69 and immediately, my birthday's on the 28th of November. So I would say immediately after that, professional, um, performing as Soul Santa, as you see up there on the wall, um, during the month of December 2025. Um, I would say that was the most outings I've done as Soul Santa, and seeing the kids. Um, I've had kids say, wait a minute, this Santa looks just like me. I've had, you see how the little girl in the picture up there?
Yep.
All right. Now this was not last Christmas, but I've had children to follow me around the whole time I was there in place. And just seeing how happy they were, how joyous they were. Matter of fact, this is at Tampa Mall. You know what Tampa Mall at on Bush?
Yep.
Just sitting there and seeing the patrons come in the front door and how surprised they were. Kids coming and jumping in my laps. Even adults were coming. I had men, women wanting to sit in my lap and just hugging me real tight, just gratified. And I bring up Tampa Mall because most of the merchants that shop there, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go on record. They're not rich. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like a forgotten community here in Tampa Bay. But just having these wonderful people come up and acknowledge and love on Soul Santa, bruh, I'm a bad man, but I got to say this, man. there were times they almost had me coming to tears. So I've been doing Soul Santa since 2010, and I would say 2025 was the most gratifying outing as Soul Santa. Now, on a personal side, uh, traveling to Michigan, you heard me talking to my niece, traveling to Michigan and spending the time that I spent with my family and doing some of the things that I did for them, that was gratifying. That was heart wrenching. As a matter of fact, I try to make it to Michigan twice a year to be with the family. So when you speak about so far this year at 69, besides having the blessing to wake up every day and having the go power that I do, those two incidents stand out. And I will say, because I'm also a mentor with Hillsborough County Schools, Project Promise, I've had, matter of fact, that's one letter there that a little girl wrote me. I have another letter that, matter of fact, at the Children Home Network. Excuse me, let me put this up. The Children Home Network, where one night I went and a little boy, when I walked in, he was crying, wailing his eyes out. Now, these are foster kids. This kid was wailing his eyes out. So the staff member told the kid, Mr. D is here, it's time for class. So when I looked at him as he came across around the corner, I said, what's wrong, son? Come here, let me talk to you. And, he was, they won't let me, blah, blah, blah. So I had a talk with him. And when it was all said and done, the tears dried up and a big smile came on this kid's face. And he leaned over and he hugged me. And then the next week I go back, when I'm packing up to leave, he's standing over there writing on a piece of paper. I'm acknowledging him, but I'm still packing. Then he says, here, Mr. D, I want you to read this. So I said, okay, but I put it down. He said, no, Mr. D, I want you to read it. So I read it, and what does it say? I love Mr. D.
Mr. D.
And vocally, he said, Mr. D,
always and forever believe.
Yeah, we all love you here, but I love you more. How could you outdo that? Being able to touch these kids, and be honest with you, nephew, we can say 1,000 times, I'm 69 years old, but having the opportunity to work with these kids in different settings, and these kids are drawn to me. You feel me? They draw to me. They do what I have. For instance, these are called evaluation sheets. And these are what the kids, after my sessions, I have them fill them out. All right? And this is what they say about me. Now, yeah. Now, this book here, these books that I told you about, they're full of these evaluation sheets. Okay? I got drawers here that are full of evaluation sheets from these kids, from different settings, different schools, and what have you. And not all of them are all fives, as you see, but just what they write. Because I tell them, I say, the last 3 lines, write down why you gave me the grade you gave me. And brother, I've been with Hillsborough County Schools doing this since 1999. And to this day, I have not thrown away not one evaluation. All right. So what I do, I upload them. I have files on my computer with all these evaluations dating back to 1999 when I started. So it's an honor, and not just with Hillsborough County Schools, but you talk about Baltimore, the schools that I work with in Baltimore, Maryland. With kids. Lockham and Bundy, which is an elementary school.
Okay.
All right. And these kids are, under the poverty line that I'm working with. You know what I mean? And having the opportunity to work with them. Matter of fact, I recall one day I was walking one of the kids home in a drug-infested neighborhood, right? So one kid came up to my man, to the student. He said, yo, man, you coming with us this evening? Because, we got to move these packages, right? And this dude, now, this is a kid in the 5th grade, but this kid, he's like 16, 17 years old. So I stood in front of this kid, and I said, yo, bro, Okay.
I got you. Go ahead.
I said, yo, man, you need to step off. Right? So the kid left. So as we walk into his house, this is what the kid tell me. He said, Mr. D, you better not do that, man, because they'll take you out, man. They'll kill you. I said, bro, look at here. You in my company, I'm in charge of you. So if it got to be like that I got to go out, I got to die protecting you, I'll do that. You see what I'm saying? And when I said that, I took this kid home, man. He ran and told his mom what I said. And every day after that, man, that kid was sticking to me like glue. But I knew, coming from, because I was a drug dealer, I was a gangbanger, so I know all that. You feel me? And if a child is in my possession, I'm going to stick up for them. I don't care about life. These kids here, you see what I'm saying? They our future. So it's up to me, it's up to any adult who is responsible, who say they love children, to stick up for them children. And that's what I do. So, you know, yeah, I've done seminars, with businesses. I've done seminars at churches, adult groups, etc., etc. Universities, Bethune-Cookman, um, Daytona Beach College, Junior College, HCC here, Howard University, Morgan State, you name it, just about. I've been to all these universities working with kids, doing seminars with these kids. But when it comes to our little kids, give them a chance. Give them a chance. Don't infect their minds. Let their minds grow. That's what they deserve, especially our black children. You know what I mean? We got to give them a chance. You know what I mean? We can't take their chances away before the chances come to knocking on their door. Simple. And for a lesser word, I'm gun ho about that. Just give me a web gear, give me my M16, give me my steel pot, my boots, because hey, war, baby. Woo!
I hear you on that. That is important. Protecting the next generation, um, giving them a voice. And I think from the some of my elders back in the day didn't have that much of a voice to really express yourself and be honest and come talk to you and confide in you, because it was just that strict background that we come from as black people. But I would say what I've learned about just parenting myself is giving your children that open opportunity to communicate with you, keeping the door open, and keep open door policy, and also keeping your ears and eyes open and just paying attention to them and being involved and spending as much time with them as you can. Um, because a lot of times you just don't know, what kids going, because we don't live in the world that we grew up in. It's just stuff is just a lot different from like each decade. It's just different, conditions, circumstances, technologies change. Trends have changed. Just a lot of different things. It's a lot of things that when we was growing up, we wasn't exposed to, like the craziness that was going on. Now, right? Yeah. So it's not the same thing. So we have to. I'm glad that you pointed that out, and I'm glad that you're aware of that, because a lot of our elders don't understand that, because they still thinking that this is the 70s, 60s, this is the 50s. And I'm not taking a shot at the elders, but I'm just being completely transparent. I've had this conversation amongst some of our community leaders. Man, you gotta not look at how you look at children from your point of view, like from Dr. King, Malcolm X time period. You can't just look at.
But when you say you're not taking shots at elders, please understand. I have a young heart, and I thank God that I have the opportunity to work with these kids because they keep me young. So when you say taking shots at elders, please understand, I'm an elder because I'm 69. I'll be 70 at the end of this year. However, when you come from a certain background, you can relate to that. So when I got my suit on and I'm looking good, smelling good, and I'm going networking and I'm talking, I'm at these meetings and whatnot, and just the fear, just the language that is used when speaking about the kids. These kids nowadays, blah blah blah.
Yep.
I can relate in some facet. Yes, I can relate. But what about our kids that don't have that opportunity, that don't have that chance? Are you saying all our kids are bad? All our kids are not worthy? All our kids need to be locked up? You see what I'm saying? You got to know how to categorize when you say kids, children, youth, because all of them are not in the same category.
Yep.
You feel me? You got the YNs.
YNs.
You see
And
what I'm saying?
YNs, Grim Lords, and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, yeah. Well, guess what? The YNs, they're, and I'm gonna say it. They're sort of like at the bottom. You know what I mean? Because all they are is terror. But wait a minute, Mr. D, Donald Dowdrige, DLD. What? Do you know what a YN is? Yeah, I know what a YN is. I used to be one of them. I was a YN. I didn't care. I terrorized. You see what I'm saying? I didn't care. So, but the difference is back then, as opposed to what we're doing now. Like I tell kids, I'm like, yo, y'all live out of this. This is y'all life. So when you listening to rap music, you got to understand. I listen to rap music. I listen to the same thing you listen to. But here's the twist though. I listen to the same thing you listen to. But one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to go out here and sell drugs. I'm not going to go out here calling a woman out her name. I'm not going to be sagging. I'm not going to be twirling. You see what I'm saying? Because guess what? What you're listening to, these brothers and sisters, they getting paid. When it's all said and done, they going back to their regular life because they got family as well. They'll get away with what you won't get away with. So you got to understand that. So it's not a matter of degrading our kids, but in any fashion of the word is how do we build our kids?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, and it's crazy when you look at it, and like some of the older heads, they judge so harshly. Some of them. It's not all of them, but some of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the day, how you raise them, I'm like, how do you